RIP Harry Belafonte. Today we're gonna talk about, of course, Don Lemon, CNN, Fox. I do want to mention some stuff with reparations that's been trending. Of course, most importantly, why the judge do these weekly Twitter spaces because of he's running for mayor of Memphis, Tennessee. So we always got to talk about what's going on in Memphis and have people support Judge Joe Brown for mayor of Memphis. Go to his website, jjb2023.com. jjb2023.com. That's jjb2023.com. And what is this? What else? Oh, his Cash App, because donations is $ Judge Joe Brown 20 2023. Yeah, $Judge Joe Brown 2023. Um, $Judge Joe Brown 2023. That's the Cash App. I'm going to put that up in the Jumbotron as well. Um, so good afternoon, everybody. Some people may be at work or not at work or working from home, wherever you at. We appreciate you joining this space. And Judge, you could start us off. Oh, we said from what? From 3 to 5. So as we go through the topics, people can request to come up. And I do want to start off with Harry Belafonte, but do your intros, Judge, and then just swing into Harry Belafonte passing today at the age of 96.
Well, most of the times, most celebrities, they ain't shit. They just spend a lifetime, an adult lifetime, with make believe and fake. I listen to celebrities if they also knew what it was like getting in the trenches, and he did. I can remember growing up that every time something actually went on, he was there. He put his money out there and he showed up. Now, some of the stuff that they tried to block from civil rights, like Montgomery, some of the marches, etc., the police used to break out with the nightsticks and batons and the dogs. And he was in there. And I wouldn't say he was nonviolent, but he was there. Now, also, something of interest was he was from the Caribbean. And people like to badmouth black folk from the Caribbean and want to talk about they're separate. But he paid his dues for what's going on over here. Now, one thing I want to put to people just very briefly, and maybe we can touch on it again since we're talking about this great man from the Caribbean. We also have to talk about Colin Powell, the highest ranking officer in the U.S. military. Historically, he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff after being Chief of Staff, United States Army, commanding general of NATO forces in the Balkans and all kinds of other stuff like that. We have Malcolm X. We have Minister Louis Farrakhan. And instead of worrying about whether somebody was from the Caribbean, think of it this way. Draft boards used to go down the line and they'd say Army, Army, Navy, Army, Army, Marine Corps, Army, Army, Marine Corps, etc. And it's like somebody got brought off the slave boat from the same point in Africa. He or she didn't have anything to do with whether they went to the same place. And then to remember that at one time, what we're talking about is English colonies in North America. There were those who are now Canada, those that became the United States, those that became the Caribbean, those that were Bermuda, those that were Barbadian. They were all colonies. And what happened is in 13 of those colonies, you had some unruly smugglers and others who wanted to get away from the English crown, and they had a revolution that was successful. So they split off and they became known as the 13 revolutionary colonies, which became the ones that founded the political entity as the United States. But as far as the slaves were concerned, it wasn't a matter of being a slave of the United States. It was a matter of being a slave in the North American colonies, a thing over which they had no control. That would be the equivalent of saying Dana's from New Jersey or Ohio, and I'm from California, Tennessee, Colorado, or Washington, D.C. So we're not all black if 50 years from now we didn't say come from South Carolina. We need to get over that and understand what happens when you ally with somebody is what maybe we got poisoned with this anathema we have about marriage as a form of slavery. Women don't want to become Mr. Williams anymore. They don't want to become Kamala Harris Imhoff. They don't want to become Katanji, etc., etc. They use the maiden name so they can be separate and apart. But you can join something. You can join a family, you can join a group, and you can be more loyal than people who might have been charter members of the group. So we need to understand that there is power in unity. And I would hold one last little quick saying on that. Right now at UCLA, there is Ralph Bunche Hall. Ralph Bunche was a black man who was very high in the UN, and that building has been there since the early 60s at UCLA. It is home for the Minority Affairs Office now. 55 years ago, there was a place called Campbell Hall, which was supposed to be demolished. It's still standing, but the Latinos, the Asians, Native Americans / American Indians, the black folk, we all got together and had what we called third world unity. And we organized and kept them from getting rid of that hall. Campbell Hall became the nation headquarters for Minority Affairs, and it now is in the largest building on campus. And that was because of alliances. If you look at a picture of World War II, you will see Winston Churchill, FDR, and Joe Stalin. And they were all supposed to be taking down Adolf and Tojo. They weren't necessarily friendly to each other. The U.S. and Britain had fought a revolution. The War of 1812 almost went to war in the 1870s over a sea incident. Churchill did not like Stalin, and after the war, Stalin's Soviet Union became deadly enemies for 45 years of Cold War with the U.S. and England. England's now a third-rate power, and we had a reconciliation for one time. In fact, adopted a lot of people from Russia who are now American citizens, and in that group, there are people that are related to me. So with that kind of thing, we fell out again because somebody's trying to bribe his way out of a Ukraine indictment. And we are over there supposedly fighting for freedom, while the other side is saying we're fighting for freedom because these guys we are supporting are trying to reinvent Nazism. So work on not whether you like somebody, but whether it is in your business interest. And politics is about business, but the business of day-to-day life, existence, public safety, health, and welfare. as well as economics. So you don't get a paycheck for this business, but you get circumstantial benefits, which mean things like how safe is your neighborhood, how prosperous is it, how well is it kept up, what kind of position does it have in the world. So one of the paybacks you get for this is quality government. Now, tying it back to Harry Belafonte, he, along with Sidney Poitier and some other folk who really did something, not just play acted, they put themselves on the line. They said, it's about advancing something where you are. I transplanted from Los Angeles 50 years ago. And like I tell people here, don't come at me about I wasn't born here. You're only 34 years old. I didn't pop out somebody's pussy to get to Memphis. I chose to come here. So I made a choice. Harry Belafonte made a choice. Sidney Poitier made a choice. Minister Louis Farrakhan made a choice, and I defy anybody to tell them that they're not fully vested Black Americans. That's like you become a citizen of this country by joining this country's military as a pathway to your citizenship. People pay their dues. And when you are trifling, somebody hasn't done anything except run your mouth. Don't talk negatively about somebody who's done more for your cause physically and economically and morale wise than you have. So, with that said, let's appreciate somebody who had a good run. He did what he did in the entertainment world, but he just didn't leave it there. He had a social conscience. He got involved and he put it on the line in a time where it really was dangerous, not like it is now. It's pretty safe being Black in America, except from your own people. And a rogue cop who's scared, that's different from when the whole system was against you and everybody's hand was turned against you and there was a literal lethal mortal war going on where people died. Lynching was common, and lynching is not like what you're looking at now. So we move on from here, and this is one of the people on whose shoulders we stand. With that said, I pass the mic. Where are we going after this?
I just want to add more context to Harry Belafonte. And guys, please request to come up as we go along because we're not going to just talk through the topics and then take. I just want people to request to come up, make comments or ask questions or whatever they want to say as we go along because it's not like we're not going to be up here for like 3-4 hours. Um, Also, Harry Belafonte does claim his Jamaican heritage, but he was born in Harlem. His father is a Black American because his father's mother was Black American, but and his it says his father was a child of a Black American mother, and so his father's parents, one was Black American, and his grandfather was Jewish. On his mom's side is the Jamaican side. So he was born here in America. As a child, he did go back to Jamaica and live with his grandmother. And then he came back to New York to attend high school, was in the military, all that. So he has roots. He is FBA, ADOS, whatever. And he also has Jamaican roots as well. And you're absolutely right. I agree with everything you said. When we're talking about the Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte's, Louis Farrakhan. I just think today we have a different mindset of people that are coming over here, whether it's from the Caribbean or the continent of Africa. They come here with less knowledge of the history or internal morale to fight for justice here in America. I just think the whole mentality today is different from that generation or that time of the Harry Belafonte era. So yeah, so like I said, guys, please request to come up and speak as we're going along. Also, Judge Joe Brown is running for Memphis of mayor for Memphis of Tennessee. I would like for people to donate to his campaign, and you could do so Cash App $ Judge Joe Brown 2023. And also go to the website jjb2023.com.
Don't judge him, Joe Brown.